lipstick, my lipstick, my lipstick, my lipstick, my lipstick, my lipstick.
Hello, I am going to read Be Nice or Else by Winn Claybaugh. I do this every time I read, so this is why I want to start reading on camera to hold myself accountable and read for 30 minutes. And my nose is kind of stuffy, so bear with me. Chapter 1. Nice guys do not finish last. I expect to pass through life but once. If therefore there be any kindness I can show or any good thing I can do to any fellow being, let me do it now, for I shall not pass this way again. As I was contemplating this book, I talked about it everywhere I went. When I asked people for their thoughts and opinions about the topic of being nice, I received a very consistent reaction. If I'm nice, people will walk all over me. Being nice doesn't mean becoming a doormat. It doesn't mean speaking in a soft voice and wearing pastel colors. And it certainly doesn't mean letting people walk all over you. Contrary to the old saying, nice guys do not finish last, you can have an opinion and still be nice. You can tell people when they've wronged you and still be nice. You can disagree with someone and still be nice about it. You can be about business and still be nice. Nice people get divorced, quit jobs, get fired, struggle with addictions, get traffic tickets, have bad things happen to them, and even have financial problems. Nice people can be found in many of the careers in hundreds of different religions, in every race and color, in every country on the planet. Nice people can be old, young, straight, gay, male, female, large, tiny, and everything in between. Unfortunately, so can mean people. So before you read much further, let's make sure you can tell the difference. A person who does nice things is not necessarily a nice person. Being philanthropic or doing volunteer work is not necessarily the same thing as being nice. You can be nice without volunteering at a nursing home. Conversely, you could volunteer at a nursing home and not be a nice person. Volunteer work may account for a couple of hours per month of your time, but you can be nice 24 hours a day. Being nice is a full-time commitment and lifestyle. A person who acts like the center of the universe is not a nice person. A wonderful storyteller by the name of C.W. Metcalf shared a story about a man in the airport who was verbally abusing an airline ticketing agent. It seems that the traveler had missed his flight due to mechanical difficulties. Apparently, the man was very loud, demonstrative, and mean to the poor ticketing agent, who obviously had no control over the plane's condition. CW went up to the abusive man and asked, "Can I have your autograph?" When the man, puzzled and confused, asked, "Why do you want my autograph?" CW responded, "Because I've never met the center of the universe before." Mean people oftentimes do get more attention and better service than people who are patient and nice. Someone who has the nerve to be aggressive, demanding, somehow seems better equipped to get the job done or be about business. But when you think about the people who are aggressive, loud, mean, in order to get attention and immediate service, are they really that much further ahead? So they get up to their hotel room 10 minutes faster than the hotel guest who was patient. Does that really add value to their lives? A person who is nice to you but mean to a waitress is not a nice person. As humor writer Dave Barry wrote in his book, Dave Barry Turns 50, a person who is nice to you but rude to a waiter is not a nice person. As you consider this being nice thing, I'm sure you'd agree that being nice could definitely give a person the upper hand. However, there are some people who know who to be nice to in order to get what they want, but forego the practice in other situations. Being nice is about inclusiveness, not exclusiveness. You can't pick and choose to whom you are nice. Have you ever had this experience? You meet someone new who you think is a really nice person. He or she may even display that charm and niceness for months. Then one night, the two of you are out to dinner, and in the middle of a lovely conversation, when the waitress makes a mistake and your date lets her have it, suddenly the nice guy you thought was the Gandhi of Take Home to Mom boyfriend becomes the Freddy Cougar date from hell. Or the Mother Teresa, this could be the one girlfriend changes into Mommy Dearest nightmare. What used to be beautiful, endearing, and cute about that person suddenly becomes ugly, embarrassing, and done. You see this all the time, don't you? It even comes up on television, where it may be slightly exaggerated, but not far from the truth. In an episode of the TV show Friends, Rachel was dating a guy she believed to be a really nice person. While on a double date with her friend Ross, Rachel slipped out to the ladies' room with Ross' date, and Ross witnessed Rachel date screaming and belittling two people for sitting in their wrong theater seats. The rest of the episode had Ross trying to entrap Rachel's new boyfriend into losing his cool and displaying mean, nasty side of him. What keeps people from being nice? Action creates habits. Habits form your character and personality. Bad habits lead to bad luck. Good habits lead to good luck. Nice guys cultivate good habits, which lead to good luck in the good life. If you want a good life, create good habits and avoid bad habits like the ones that follow. Being a whiner. Do you know people who seem as though they were programmed for misery and they want to make sure you're miserable too? They show up to work, pull you aside, and say, "You think your life is bad? Wait till you hear what happened to me." They can't tell you about their drama. Being a whiner is a very bad habit, and it's one of the traits of a not nice person. Being exclusive. As you unfold this being nice lifestyle, you'll meet individuals who treat some people nicely to get what they want while excluding everyone else from their circle. That's not what this book is about. If your mindset is the same, people are excluded from your niceness simply because they can't do anything for you, then you've missed the mark. 2. Oh no, this is 3. Being afraid your needs won't be met. Some people have a stronger belief in scarcity than in abundance. They believe there's only so much to go around, so they grab their share before other people do, or they might miss out. They want to grab their share of happiness, money, opportunity, anything else that they believe is in short supply. That grabbing gets in the way of being nice. The next one is being late. One of the things I hear most often when I ask about habits of not nice people is, it's not nice to be late and keep someone waiting. When you're late, you give people perception, whether it's true or not, that your time, your objectives, and your agenda is more important than anyone else's. In a later chapter, you'll discover the difference between perception and reality. But if people have the perception that you're not a nice person, even though reality may be different, you still have to own and deal with that perception. Having bad manners. Being the bearer of a platinum Visa card is not a license to be mean or rude. I know what it feels like to plop down one of those cards and then look around to make sure enough people saw it. It gives you an air of confidence, an attitude of superiority. It's the same as when you sit in first class section on the airplane. Those wide leather seats seem to divide you from them. In your mind, they divide royalty from peasant, a filet mignon meal from the peanut snack. A good friend of mine is a flight attendant and one for a major airline corporation. She tells story after story about airline passengers who act as though they're the only people on board. They seem to believe that every flight attendant is there to only serve them. Such passengers will flash their gold medallion cards as though they were then excused and exempt from practicing ties or manners, as if the card gave them the right to be impolite or rude. Bad manners run rampant in our society, and it's one of the most common habits that keep people from being nice. Character traits and actions that are not nice. You could be a naturally nice person, but if you do any of the following, you'll diminish your nice factor. Agent. This is one of those symptoms I continuously have to watch for in myself. always inspecting and policing other people's behaviors, moods, actions, and attitude. I want to police the way total strangers drive on the freeway. I want to police the way the man across the restaurant chooses food. I want to police the clothes you wear, how you speak to your kids, how you slump in your chair, and I don't even know you. But it gets worse. If I do know you, then of course I need to monitor your every move, word, sound, thought, action, and oh yeah, how you spend your money. I realize you didn't ask for my advice and you're not going to get it anyway. After all, I care about you and I don't want you to get hurt by wearing your hair the wrong way or dating the wrong person. Next is being a critic. My brother Brennan happens to work for me in my company until recently. Brennan strongly disliked sushi, and I had a problem letting everyone know. Whenever dinner decisions were being made with a group of friends and sushi was suggested, I would immediately and strongly express his distaste. Brennan is always looking for ways to advance in his career, and it finally occurred to me, which I probably share with Brennan, that many of my business dealings and negotiations are held in sushi restaurants. I said to him, imagine that a person with a great offer and opportunity for you suggested, let's meet and discuss this over sushi. What do you think would happen if you responded, ew, I hate sushi? My recommendation to Brendan was that he stop critiquing sushi and learn to find something on the menu to order and enjoy. Brendan now enjoys all of his dining experiences, and some of them happen to take place in sushi restaurants. In my company, we strongly believe that in the importance of lifelong learning, and we heavily invest in training our people. Years ago, I spent a lot of purchasing airline tickets, hotel rooms, and seminar tuitions to send my people to educational events and fun places like Las Vegas. When they'd return, I'd always ask, so how was it? On occasions, they respond, I didn't like the food they served at lunch. I think to myself, who cares? You thought about the food. Who asked you to be a restaurant critic? Most likely, these self-proclaimed food critics completely missed out on amazing education being shared because they thought it was their job to criticize the food. Who said you had to be a critic or had an opinion about everything? Unless your career is in food or film critic, do you really need to be so demonstrative in letting everyone know what you think and feel about certain things? When you produce your own Broadway show, then you can critique Broadway. In the meantime, being nice doesn't mean just biting your tongue. It means choosing to let things go. For me, a person who always interjects an opinion or critiques every little thing is coming from a place of ego. When I come from my insecure, low self-esteem, ego place, it's because I want you to feel good about me. And when anyone comes from that place, there's no room for another opinion. There's no room for you to feel good about yourself. I call it the it's all about me syndrome. Well, maybe I don't call it that, but I certainly know what it's like to be around. Do you know people who, the older they get, the more critical they become? They have blasted opinions about everything. That's disgusting. That stinks. That's inappropriate. When I was coming up on my 29th birthday, I went to see a psychic who candidly told me that I was a serious old man at a ripe age of 28. She said that if I didn't lighten up by the time I turned 30, I'd live the rest of my life as a serious old man. I took her advice and asked some friends to teach me how to lighten up, relax, let things go, and have fun. I spent that year before my 30th birthday consciously and purposely practicing what my friends taught me. I took a lot of weekend trips, went outdoor concerts, had picnics, went camping, spent a lot of time with my young nieces and nephews, and did anything else that seemed spontaneous, simple, and easy. In contrast to a serious businessman, I'd become irresponsible. Soon after I turned 30, I packaged my newfound way of life and launched a speaking career. On my brand New business cards I fittingly added lighten up printed under my name, more as a reminder to myself than to others. When people feel it's their role to be a critic, which easily bleeds into critiquing anything and everything, they miss out on simple pleasures, gifts, learning, opportunities, adventures, discoveries, and growth. Critics miss out on life. Let go, lighten up. You'll quickly see how much happier and fulfilling being nice can be. Focusing on too many issues. Keeping track of and managing issues can become a full time job. It can occupy the majority of your thought process while depleting valuable energy that you could be using to truly make a difference. Here's how it happens. To be a good citizen and contribute to society, you begin to take on issues and causes. Your first concerns might be related to political, environmental, and economic issues. Then you move into issues related to human behavior and how people should treat each other. Sounds responsible and politically correct so far, doesn't it? Sure, but doesn't it end there? You then begin to take on issues of which color your neighbors should paint their house, the appropriate length of the total stranger to him line, or whether or not households 3,000 miles away should be allowed to own more than 2 cats. It's almost as if you move through life collecting as many issues as possible, as if you believe that he who dies with the most issues wins. In reality, having so many issues will almost guarantee an early grave. Focusing on all those issues gets exhausting. It requires a great deal of time and energy to worry about all those things you can't control, let alone the things you can't. The challenge in having so many issues, so many things that don't work, and keep you in constant state of alarm is that you don't have time to or energy to enjoy the things that do work. A good friend a good friend of mine refers to this as putting yourself in mental jail. Let me give you some valuable, candid, useful, silly, effective, like I haven't heard that before advice. Let it go. Who cares? So what? Build a bridge and get over it. I believe there are many topics that need to become non-issues. I would never attempt to dictate to a person that their non-issues should be. I can only decide upon my own. However, I challenge you and challenge myself to be very clear as to which issues are important and worth standing up for, and which issues can become non-issues. It's great to have a mind of your own, but use it where it matters and choose your battles wisely. When you choose to let things go and make things non-issues, not only do you release other people to who they are, you also set yourself free. How can you decide which topics are issues and which ones are non-issues? A lovely, funny, powerful motivational speaker by the name of Rita Davenport used to say, if money can fix it, it's not a problem. By this definition, here's a simple exercise for sorting out your issues and non-issues. On a piece of paper, make a list of all the things that cause you to worry, lose sleep, and drag through life. Then, for each item on the list, ask yourself, can money fix this? And write yes or no. Besides each item, be aware of investing too much energy worrying about things that money can fix. Save your strength for the no's on the list. Always be right. The annoying and unflattering side effect of people who always have to have an opinion and always have to be a critic is that they begin to believe they must be right about their opinions. Have you ever been in an argument with someone who truly loved and cared about and yet you just couldn't let go of your position? The issue may or may not have been much importance or merit, and you may or may not have been certain that your position was right, yet it was more important for you to be right and state your opinion, your case, your position, or your stance than let it go and be nice. Even there'd been a jury present to rule in your favor, proving that your side of the argument was right. Please ask yourself the following question: do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? Next, always finishing first. I facilitate a team building activity called Shot in the Arm, in which a group of people must get from one side of the room to the other side while encountering physical obstacles along the way. Although the game doesn't end until everyone makes it across the finish line, it never fails that one or two individuals race out, ignoring the obstacles and pleas for help from their fellow team members just so they can finish first. Once in the discussion that follows the exercise, a young woman shared with the group that she'd always been very goal oriented. She said that when the guidelines of the game were explained, all she heard was get to the other side. So she set out, and sure enough, she was the first person to cross the line. Once she crossed, though, she looked back and saw the whole group of people laughing, having fun, getting to know each other. Even though they hadn't crossed the finish line, she said to herself, I crossed first, but look what I missed out on. In this case, maybe nice guys do finish last, but they have more fun along the way. Life isn't always about being in a race and finishing first. Sometimes it's about the journey and the people you meet along the way. Nice guys help other people finish and enjoy the benefits of finishing together, or even finishing after everyone else. Mean guys who race to the finish miss out on all the fun. Always talking about yourself. Another character trait that can diminish your nice factor is always talking about yourself. It's a bad habit to not be interested in what other people think, do, or feel. I say it's a bad habit because people who are interested in others have trained themselves to be this way. Just as some people train themselves to be mean or enjoy smoking. They're all bad habits, and bad habits can be broken. Correcting this one is really simple. What's everyone's favorite subject? Themselves. If you want to let people know you're nice and that you have an interest in them, give them an opportunity to talk about themselves. How do you do that? Ask them. Simply say, tell me about you. What if someone starts talking about a hobby that completely bores you to tears? Does that mean you're done? Or that you have to pretend to be interested just to prove you're a nice person? Nope. For me, to understand other people and what makes them tick helps me to understand myself and what makes me tick. Being curious about human nature, why people think, believe, and act the way they do, helped me understand my own intricate physical, mental, emotional control panels. To build your character, expand your horizons, learn new things, and increase your nice factor, you must break that old habit of being bored by others instead of learn how to be inquisitive, curious, and fascinated by them. Let's say someone at a party tells you that their hobby is stamp collecting, and you feel that stamp collecting is the most boring hobby ever. Rehearse the script. Question: stamp collecting, huh? What first got you interested in that? Answer: I had an uncle who was a stamp collector. And he died, in his will, he collect his collection to me. Question: where did your uncle grow up? Answer: he grew up in Queens from the time he was 8 years old. Question: where did he live before that? Answer: he was a Jewish immigrant who came to the United States during World War II. Question: do you know much about his experiences then? Instead of instantly ending the conversation, the skill here is to continue with a genuinely curious line of questions until you find something interesting. When that happens, you may suddenly look at this boring stamp collector and see the most remarkable person you've met in a long time. You spent many years learning how to talk, write, and read. How many seminars have you attended on how to listen? Genuine listening means hearing with the intent to understand and get to know someone. If you do that, there's no way you could possibly finish last. There's no substitute for being nice. Have you ever met someone whose attitude seems to be, I'll be nice until I get what I want? It's kind of like the people who stay in shape until they get married, or ones who hold in their gut when someone attractive walks by. They may think they're pulling a fast one, but no one is being fooled for long. It's the same way with the following substitutes for being nice. Being rich does not replace being nice. Why are some rich people mean and nasty? Because they can be. Money is a powerful thing to possess, and in most scenarios, it will get you exactly what you want. A person without a lot of money would need to rely on other qualities, traits, or possessions, such as charm, personality, kindness, nice ties, to negotiate what they want in the world. But a rich person can do it in the snap of their finger. Be careful. Watch yourself. Be conscious of what the perks in life can do to deteriorate and weaken your nice factor. Be mindful on how you utilize financial gifts you've been given and how your use of money makes other people feel about themselves. I personally don't have a lot of wealthy friends or acquaintances, but I will say that the few I do have are wonderful examples for me on how to behave as a wealthy man. I was taught that if you despise rich people, you'll never be rich. Yes, I have a desire to be wealthy, and I feel that my attitude about money is quite healthy. You can do a lot of great things on this planet if you have money. As I share in the upcoming chapter, you need mentors to show you the way, even for becoming a responsible rich person. One person who immediately comes to mind is a man of the name of Jean-Paul Deheria, the co-founder of CEO of Paul Mitchell Hair Care Company. I've watched Jean-Paul in almost every type of scenario, from a hectic office to board meeting, from dining out in a restaurant to dashing through a crowded airport, from hosting a small dinner party in his home to taking phone call after phone call. No matter what situation he's in, Jean-Paul is always nice. One such example of Jean-Paul niceness occurred the day I was in his Malibu home for a casual meeting with him. Before we began, Jean-Paul explained that he was expecting an important phone call and asked if I'd mind if he left the phone on. Of course not, I replied. A few minutes into our meeting, the phone rang. Jean-Paul apologized to me and then answered the phone. As I sat there in close proximity, in eavesdropping range, it suddenly became apparent that Jean-Paul was speaking to the President of the United States. In fact, to confirm my astonishment, I glanced at Jean-Paul's assistant with an obvious question on my face, to which the assistant whispered, "Yep, it's the President." During their 10-minute call, Jean-Paul was understandably kind, gracious, and nice. After all, it was the President. The call ended and Jean-Paul and I went back to our meeting. A few minutes later, the phone rang again. And once again, Jean-Paul apologized to me for needing to take the phone call. Only this time, it wasn't the President. It was a seamstress who was sewing a Halloween costume for one of Jean-Paul's daughters. Their phone call lasted about 10 minutes as well. But I was very aware of something pleasantly surprising. Jean-Paul was just as kind, just as gracious, and just as nice to the seamstress as he was the President of the United States. Having a PhD does not replace being nice. As you have you ever been around people who have multiple degrees from college of snobbery and who use their intelligence as a stick to beat up other people? Education can do a funny thing to some people. You think education will help them live happier, more productive lives, and that their happiness will let them include other people. Yet, for some, and more education, knowledge, and degrees they receive, the less confident they become of their abilities, which is where ego comes from. You easily see a perfect example of this if you compared a group of adults to a kindergarten class filled with 5-year-old children. If you ask the class, how many of you are really good at art? How many hands do you think will go up? All of them. If you continued, how many of you are really good at playing musical instruments? How many hands do you think will go up? Again, all of them. How many of you are really good at acting in a play? How many hands? Everyone. If you ask the same number of adults, how many of you are really good at playing a musical instrument? What would most likely happen? You'd see some blank stares, some yawns, and a lot of squirming and fidgeting. Perhaps someone would respond with, I took piano lessons for 35 years, but no, I'm just not good at playing the piano. Where did we grown-ups lose our self-confidence? Little kids have it, but somewhere along the way, despite our education, mastery of new task skills, we adults have diminished our soul capacity for being able to confidently say, sure, I'm good at that, and so are you. Unfortunately, we lose our confidence in ourselves. We sometimes become less inclusive of others. We have so much to unlearn. Being religious does not replace being nice. We all know so called religious people who use their religion as an excuse to belittle, judge, demean, and yes, as a stick to beat up other people. They think that attending church or synagogue on the weekends excuses them from being nice for the rest of the week. They especially feel as if they've been let off the hook for being nice toward those who don't have the same beliefs or practices as they. Oh, the tragedies, heartbreak, and mistreatments that take place in the name of the religion. One of my favorite fables is about a man who has died and is standing at the gates of heaven being judged by God. The man asks for forgiveness and pleads, God, I tried to get into that church, but they wouldn't let me in. God responds, I've been trying to get into that church myself for years and they won't let me in either. Let me state it simply directly. You can't be a bitch for God. Being funny does not being funny does not replace being nice. Can you be funny and not be nice? Absolutely. I had a friend growing up who was always so funny and quick. His wit kept us in stitches. I loved being around him because he made us laugh. But as I got older, I experienced a relationship where another friend's sister was mentally challenged, and all of a sudden, my funny friend humor regarding retards wasn't so funny anymore. I realized that his sense of humor was at someone else's expense, and his jokes were founded upon demeaning other people. It may not be illegal, but is it nice? Oh, the ways in which we justify our actions. We live in a society that relies on lawmakers to tell us what behavior is acceptable and what behavior is not. We figure I didn't do anything illegal, so my actions are acceptable and justifiable, even if we aren't nice. Yes, we want to make sure our actions don't violate the laws of the land, but we also have other laws to live by. There are laws of nature, laws of mind, laws of heart, laws of religion, and so on. There's also karma, which basically means you get what you deserve. And have you noticed that karma comes along a lot sooner than usual these days? I don't know about you, but I figured that there are intelligence out there that have more power and wisdom than me, and that all these different laws exist for reasons I may never comprehend, nor do I need to in order to yield and even surrender to their existence and effect on me. To think that the only laws we have to live by are the ones written down in law books while we ignore all the others is a frightening proposition. Being nice means we might also want to make sure we're in line with all the other sets of laws because they all play their role. Oxymoron. Before leaving this topic of habits, traits, characteristics, not nice people, there's one group that I have to include. These are professionals whose very job description requires them to be kind, caring, loving individuals. They're the people who probably choose careers in teaching, medicine, and hairdressing. The service industry, out of a sense of joy, love, and caring for people, but somewhere along the way, they've lost that joy. They've gotten mean, and now they're sad examples of oxymorons in action. Mean teachers. When a teacher is mean or comes from a place of ego, the doors of learning in the minds of students will slam shut. Being educated, humble, and nice are the greatest skills a gifted teacher could possess in order to facilitate the beautiful experience of learning. Mean hairdressers. If you're like most people who frequent a beauty salon or spa, you'll probably agree that the main reason customers become loyal to their hairdressers is not just because they give great haircuts. In fact, there are many hairdressers who are awful technical abilities and give mediocre haircuts, yet they're booked for weeks and months in advance. Why? Because they're nice. They're fun. They make people feel welcome. They make people feel good about themselves. Their customers keep coming back for more. Mean doctors and nurses. The physical healing process for a patient is so delicate and requires so many different facets of wellness that to discard the importance of a nice, kind-hearted doctor or nurse is tragic. Doctors and nurses especially must treat the whole person. I am so inspired by City of Hope, whose dedicated physicians and researchers work tirelessly to find the cause of cures for cancer and other life-threatening diseases. Since its founding in 1930, City of Hope has maintained a commitment to training the whole person, not just the disease, by offering programs and services that go beyond what has traditionally been associated with hospital care. Their credo, as shown on their website, cityofhope.org, shows that they're driven by the following belief. There is no profit in curing the body if in the process we destroy the soul. If you want to be nasty, cruel, unpleasant, then choose a career activity where those traits might assist you, such as wrestling or being a gossipy talk show guest, but don't become an oxymoron. Nice actions and character traits. Now that we've covered the not nice habits, traits, characteristics, let's look at the elements that create a nice person. Here are a few of the qualities and actions that go along with being nice. Patience. Years ago, my good friend Jimmy Angel and I spent a week on the road together, sharing a hotel room while we did seminars. On the last day of our trip, after witnessing me jump out the bed when the alarm went off each morning and then do laps around a tiny hotel room as I got ready to and organize myself for the day, Jimmy said to me, "Winn, I have 3 words for you. Ritalin." I'm a very busy man. Who isn't these days? I also have a lot of energy and I love lots of interactions with people. I love going to the gym with people, eating most of my meals with people, and I'll even invite someone to walk out to my car with me if I go get something. I like to be with people a lot, and I don't require much alone time. Well, not everyone operates at the pace I do, and not everyone operates at the pace you do. If I want to be with people, then sometimes it has to be at their pace. I have to be patient. Patience for me is like it is for a little kid who's dragged along to go shopping with his mom, sitting outside the dressing room while she tries on an outfit after outfit. It's pure torture. So here's what I do. I have a day planner. I can't go into a handheld data system yet, which is constantly in my possession. The day planner is stuffed with all sorts of things. Printed emails that I need to review, my scribblings about fun new project ideas, photos of my friends and family, photos of my favorite vacation spot, recent business cards I've collected, love notes from friends, magazine articles that I tore out at home to read later, unopened mail, and over 100 fortunes I've collected from Chinese fortune cookies when I need to adjust my time and accommodate someone else's schedule. I have plenty to keep me busy, and it's not so hard for me to be patient. Laughter. It's a medical fact that stress, which is often caused by thoughts and beliefs, can lead to ulcers and other unfavorable physical calamities. In truth, it's not the stress that causes problems. It's the way you react to stress. Instead of letting stress make you ill, you can use laughter to help you heal. When you laugh and have fun, your body releases its own natural drugs called endorphins. These are the body's natural opiates, the ultimate natural high. Some for those of you who want to be nice and play doctor, you can give others their daily dose of healthfulness through laughter. Love. Of course, the word love belongs in a book like this. Big surprise. However, in your pursuit to being nice, remember that love is a verb. It requires action. Here's the words I love you is incredible and can sing you soaring. The words alone can feel so good both in hearing them and in saying them. But how wonderful is it when those words are accompanied by loving acts, thoughtful performances, and caring recitals? I believe that love is a subject that you can study. You can read books about it, listen to songs about it, attend seminars on it, and practice, practice, practice its curriculum in order to become a better representative of love's true meaning. A much respected friend and mentor of mine, David Wagner, wrote a book titled Life as a Daymaker: How to Change the World by Making Someone's Day. His beautiful book details many examples of actions you can take to actively love your partner, your children, your grandchildren, a stranger, a co-worker, and yourself. I'm the type who loves to do lists along with pick up a gallon of milk. You could add to your be nice to do list, put a quarter in the gumball machine and walk away. Or pick up lunch for someone at work you know is swamped. Both wonderful examples from David's book. Humor, not at someone else's expense. Humor is such a wonderful skill, and offering Dr. Bernie Siegel, author, Love of Medicine and Miracles, wrote that humor not only may have the potential to relieve pain directly through endorphins and other psych wait, physiological processes, physiological philosophy, It also diverts your attention and helps you relax. Humor can ease tension and lighten up a situation. And when tension is low, niceness can flourish. Tolerance. It's amazing the little tiny boxes we attempt to put people in. Our tolerance guidelines can become so limiting, and what we do to deem acceptable becomes so restrictive. I'm not sure of the source, but I love beliefs like no one's special, everyone's special. And Thomas A. Harrison concept of I'm okay, you're okay. How wonderful it would be if you were introduced to someone and your response following the description of this person was, that's cool. Here's an example of how that might look. Hey, this is my friend Nathan, who is blank. Fill in the blank using descriptions such as Jewish, atheist, Mormon, Christian, Buddhist, gay, lesbian, Middle Eastern, Southern, Mexican, a waiter, a recovering alcoholic, an attorney, divorcee, ex-convict, so on. Then remember, your response is, that's cool. When you practice being nice, everyone's descriptions will be totally and completely cool to you because you tolerate and accept the masses. Humility. As you've already learned, a lack of confidence can lead to being egotistical. Humility is not a lack of confidence. It can exist on all levels of your confidence scale and in every facet of your ability, character, and personality. To me, humility is the icing on the cake. It makes a physically attractive person 100 times more attractive. Humility can never be counterfeit. It can only be genuine. And it can be learned. Yes, you can learn how to be humble. And the trait of humility is like a Pied Piper of nice people. If you saw yourself in any of these traits, attributes, and behaviors discussed in this chapter, and you discover some areas which you aren't nice, here's some great news. Anyone can learn to be nice, and the next chapter will get you started. Before you move on, here's one last thing I think you'll enjoy. At the end of each chapter, you'll find a home play assignment, a quick little exercise to jumpstart your thinking and move along on your being nice journey. Each one short, sweet, and simple to complete. Are you ready? Here's your first one. Your home play assignment. Find a tiny piece of scratch paper and something to write with. On the paper of your scratch paper, write this down. People are blank. People are blank. People are blank. Fill in the blank spaces after people are with 3 different adjectives. Quickly, write the first 3 words that pop into your head. Please make sure you do it without reading any further. Now cross out people are and write I am in front of those 3 adjectives. If you happen to have written something that wasn't so wonderful, please know that it does not represent the real you. It just suggests that you might have gotten off track somewhere along the way to being a nice person. Use your newfound knowledge to gain some insight as to what your personal home play assignments might be. What could you work on? A list that contains negative traits is just the flip side to your true potential. Who better to be a parent, the CEO of a big company, a stranger on an elevator, the coach of a little league baseball team, a waitress, a lover, or a citizen of the planet? That's someone who wrote down. People are wonderful. People are caring. People are nice. If you're not quite there, you soon can be. And the next chapter will show you how. Chapter 2.